welcome. Hi, hello. Welcome to the Nonprofit Network. My name is Shelby Stokes.
Kelly Schenfeld.
Hey gang, Polly here. Good afternoon. As you can see, Shelby's going to be taking a cruise here pretty soon, so I figured we'd get him into the cruise mode with some beautiful ocean and a Quonset hut behind us, or
Oh, whoa! Somebody's been watching Jeopardy.
whoa,
Whoa! Quonset hut. Wow, that's a very leather-bound book you pulled that from. Wow. Yeah, I'm going on a cruise soon. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's been kind of tough here in the Pacific Northwest with the doom and
Along came Polly.
The gloom.
Along came Polly.
Oh,
What are you doing?
I had to Google it. I apologize. That happens to me. If I get stuck on a movie or a character, it's Along Came Polly. I apologize. I realize we're on the podcast, but yes. Woo! Okay, now we can go.
We got it. Now we can move forward. Yeah, we were talking movies beforehand, and
Yeah.
Along Came Polly was the movie we were referencing.
Yeah, because we're talking about beaches.
I
And
also don't think that's the right movie.
so is Along
Okay,
Came
all
Polly.
right. Well, hey, there you go. Are you for Scuba Ted? Yeah, that is it.
Yes, because
the guy's name is Ted.
Yes.
That's how we know. Okay, perfect. It's been established. Go watch that movie if you have not yet.
Especially the Indian food scene where he's in there and he has to
no.
use the grandmother towel.
Oh no! Please don't.
I haven't
Please
seen the
don't.
movie.
It's so
Please
good.
don't.
Along Came Polly. Hey,
Okay.
it's an oldie,
Oh
but
my
it's a goodie.
goodness.
He's eating Indian
Should
food.
we
He's just
should we
sweating
Should we
because
just start over?
no, they
I
can
think we
watch
should
this.
start over. I think we
It's
should
all
start
good.
Maybe we should re-rack it.
No,
I
it's
think we
fine.
should
Keep
re-rack
going.
it.
So let's
I
talk
think-
about
I
our
think
stuff. Go
we- I
ahead.
think
Let's
we should
go.
re-rack it.
No reason to re-rack it. We're people.
Yes, we are
Good
people.
humor.
Yes, we are. We just don't have very good humor. That's really the problem here.
We're very funny.
Yeah, we're just not up to date on good movies. That's for sure. Hey, welcome. Today we on the podcast we discuss tempering expectations. That's kind of what the jumping off point is going to be. All three of us had shows this weekend. We are well within the month of March, and fundraising is happening. There was a really good weekend across the board for our team. A lot of really cool stories we're hearing on Mondays. Magical moments are occurring, but I think like something that we really have to keep in mind is we have to temper expectations. And I'll kick off because I chose the subject, so here we are. I went into an event that was on a coastal town, and we had a makeup of about 10 items, and 4 of those items were buy-in parties. In other words, you set a price and you have people buy into those parties.
4 out of 10,
4 out of 10, which is a lot.
which is a lot.
And then we also had one going into Fund a Need, which is not traditionally the way to go. But it was the item they want. So I kind of go in and I'm like, okay, we're just going to see how this goes. I kind of set everybody up and like, okay, if this falls apart, so be it. We succeeded on every one of those.
That's so cool.
Every one of those
Yeah.
items. And then we had some of the traditionally sold items not do as well. Like I had a week-long stay in Long Beach that brought $700 valued at $15.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of went in with the experience of, okay, I really need to make sure we're moving these by the head opportunities along. I have to do it in an efficient manner. And that's what a lot of people were there for. So shame on me for like coming in with preconceived notion.
Well, and your topic today is expectations.
Right.
As what? Maybe the expectations are also for us.
Yeah. I think
Our
so. I
agree.
expectations going into an auction are different maybe than they should be sometimes, as well as the expectations of the group that's running the auction that night or the event that night has expectations that it'll do really well. Maybe these communities are changing, and maybe the things that weren't working are working.
Yeah.
And we're doing a lot of that. So expectation all around the board. Ours, them, the guest, everybody's.
Yeah. Well, in this event specifically, I was following you and Mark. And
Which is very difficult
very
to
difficult
do.
to do. Especially when you sell one item for $21,000.
Naming an octopus. Yeah. 21.
And that octopus still has a name, believe it or not.
It does, and it's still alive.
But I mean, so you kind of go in there, and I had conversations with the client beforehand. It's just like, look, you raised a whole bunch of money on one item yesterday, and that was a moment in time.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment has happened, and you can't like hang your hat on anything doing or meeting the same expectation of that item. Like,
Especially if Mark and Kelly were involved,
I mean,
right.
exactly. I would have got 23 Rand. I know that. I know that.
21. Lame.
21.
21.
Not even a round number.
Good
Not even a
Lord.
round
Yeah,
number.
why 21?
Yeah, why 21?
Their age is really getting to
Yeah,
if they
for
stop
sure.
at 21.
Did they get to 21 and just stop and not ask again? That must have been what happened. But so I mean, it was a good reminder for me. I also had a really good conversation with Jeff Kingsbury. He's one one of our A-list auctioneers as well. And essentially what he was talking about is going into like certain rooms and having conversations with them beforehand of like, hey, your item last year sold for $21,000. That was unheard of at that time. So let's make our expectations
Temper our
somewhere
expect-
in reality.
Yeah.
Because if they're not in reality and you go in just like crossing your fingers like the sky is going to fall and the money's just going to fall in your lap, that might not always be the case.
And you know, that's very important because you don't want there to be a letdown at the end of the night.
True.
You know, and that's something that we battle with is if they don't meet an expectation that is quite honestly possibly unreasonable, you know, that there's going to be set up for a letdown.
And that one is. I mean, that one is.
Yeah, no.
What is the average selling price of all the other items at that event that sold for 21 grand?
I'd say 15 too.
So that is
Sounds
just a
right.
complete
Yeah.
outlier. That's just something that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're setting yourself up for failure if you say, okay, Shelby, we got 21 grand.
Right, yeah.
You got to get at least there. It's like,
Yeah.
Well, and to your
What?
point, sorry, I cut you off. But to your point, like when we're doing the by the head items and you invite 15 people to a gathering, and all of a sudden you realize that you can take those 15 people, charge them $150 and make almost $2,000, then you know that that's the better way to work that room.
Yeah.
Whereas as a traditional auctioneer, you see 4 out of 10 by the head opportunities or per
Panic.
person. You're like, oh boy, this is
Right.
going to take forever and it's probably not going to land. But it did. So I was impressed with their commitment to sticking with the per person items because I know that I and the office were consulting them away from that. But shame on me. Like that was the right way
They
to
know
go.
their community.
They do.
They know their
They do.
community, and they know
Yeah.
that those people are going to want to share time outside of this gala, and that was giving them another opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
So
I ran
hats
into
off.
this last weekend because I missed our pod last week, but I'm going into these shows this year with a little bit different of an attitude as far as somebody wants to do something differently. 2 weeks ago, we had an auction that was 12 items. Interesting timeline. We had about 45 minutes of introductory stuff. Maybe 15 minutes of that time was a technical issue, but still that's 30 minutes of just before we even get started. And then they wanted to do the dessert dash first. And everybody stand up, run out the hallway, grab a dessert. Get everybody sat down, and then play heads and tails. And then start the live auction.
Right.
Now, if you were to see that or you were to see that, you would be like, oh, bleep.
We're too top heavy. Yeah.
Right? This is, traditionally, this is not what we do. We do heads and tails in the middle. We do dessert dash here, there, wherever.
Yeah.
I said, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
absolutely fine. In fact, it was successful.
And in fact, that's because you wore that idea that it's their show. They know their community. We're
Yeah.
there to take what they've worked on and move it forward.
Now, this last weekend, we had 31 items, 12 desserts. There's 43 items, and they wanted to do the dessert dash, sell it live, last.
Interesting.
That's when I said, nah,
Yeah.
because we got to get out of this venue. It's the atrium at the Seattle SeaTac Marriott, high ceilings, tough sound. They had to be out of there by 9. We needed them to be out of there by 9. Plus, they wanted to get the desserts delivered by the staff. How can you do that? Live auction's over. Sell the desserts. Everybody's up, ready to go to the next room and party. You're not going to be able to get desserts delivered.
Yeah.
And this gal was new, sweetheart. She's like, okay. I said, let's do it halfway between the beginning and fun and eat.
It worked.
That time, I felt like it was necessary to interject.
Yeah.
But 99% of the time, this year I'm going to be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, and especially when you tack something on at the end of the night, right? Because anytime that you have like a little bit of a lag there at the end of the night, it's much more evident to the group than it would be in the front, right? If you had 15 minutes of dessert dash in the front, it doesn't feel as night ending because it is so early and people don't know what to expect yet. Once you start the program, you have that program momentum to kind of say, hey, now we're going to do dessert dash and it's going to take 20 minutes to get you to dessert. That's a whole different message. People are checking their clock. They need to get home to the babysitter, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the dynamic was probably a right shift that you made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like it was. We don't have the liberty of seeing how it would have went the other way.
Right.
So how
Yeah, but
can
your
you really say
experience-
in confidence? But, with my experience and Willie's experience.
And I think that's important. I think that's also something they hire when they hire Stokes Auction Group is they're hiring that. They're hiring that experience, what we've seen, what we know works, what we know doesn't work. So, there's a certain trust that they have with you when you're on site as well. So, if it's your idea, own it. Because you're going to have to own it. So if it works, great. If it doesn't work, you're going to have to be, apologetic for it. But you know what? If you believe the risk is worth the reward, then absolutely, I think it's the right move.
Yeah, I would agree. And it's our job to coach people on our best experiences, but the hard line, like the black and white hard lines, does not work.
It doesn't
does
exist
not
today.
exist. Yeah, exactly. Like I know for a fact that our office was trying to talk my group out of the per person items and how many there were. And lo and behold, the way that we set it up and put that last one at the end, like it really all clicked together in a pretty eloquent way.
Cool.
We did stop and honor somebody at the call to action. They call it the Make a Difference portion of the night at this event. And it didn't, I didn't feel like it really stuck the way it could have. We kind of went through the first 5 levels, stopped, honored somebody, had 2 speakers help honoring this individual. And then we're like, yeah, in honor of X amount of years of service, we're going to ask for $280. And he was just like, he wasn't really on board. I don't think it had been communicated to him before. But to restart that energy a little bit later in the night did take a little doing.
Well, at least you did it at the $280 level instead of the $1,000 level or something like that.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. We had an event that was shockingly very good. It's terrible sound, incredible people. I just love these people. The gal that leads it is an amazing little gal. And it's for school, Gardner School. And they absolutely that community just comes together and says, how much do you need?
Yeah.
And they just write their check. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So when we get to have those experiences, those are really nice because, Mark and I were along for the ride. There's nothing we did to make it special. They did say, not to give a little feather in our cap, but they did say absolutely no doubling of the projects.
Okay.
None.
And?
If you're going to double one, it's this one that you can maybe double, but none of the other ones. This is the only one you can double. Well, I felt like it was my responsibility to share with them the math if we did in fact double the final one. And these people were insane, beautifully insane. They bid $7,750 on an art project.
What?
And I looked right at the art teacher and I said, Millie, please.
Make another one.
Make another one. She's like, oh, you gotta go ask Emily. So I went over and said, Emily, that's a lot of money. She's like, oh God, okay, well ask Millie. I said, I already did. She said, okay. Boom, doubled it.
Oh my gosh. And you made the decision. So go ask her. No, she said to come ask you.
Yeah.
Okay, they said yes. They both said yes.
Yeah. And what does it hurt if a ringman is watching this or a professional bid spotter, what does it hurt to ask? It doesn't hurt to ask, right? If it's crazy money, you can ask.
Yeah.
All they can do is say no. And the way that you ask him is absolutely no pressure. It is a lot of money. It's like a lot of money. But would you be willing to double that? And they say, go ask her. You say, she said ask you. So it's like I kind of did manipulate that a little bit.
Boy. I can't wait to read that in the report. Yeah, great. Yeah. What's your feedback form? Say, great. Yeah.
No, they're good people.
It's from the art teacher.
Yeah,
she
they're
said
great.
you need to come down and volunteer 3 days to build this art package.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, the expectation piece, that's what we were launching off on this. And the expectation of that audience that all those projects would be doubled because that's what it's been done in the past. And we didn't do that. So it raised the value of these projects. You're thinking, this isn't going to double. This isn't going to double. This isn't going to double. And then bam, you get this bidding war that happens because it's for sure not going to double. And then you say, well.
Been there, right? Like how many times have we said, okay, don't double it this year because we need to maintain like demand on the item.
Right.
And then you're like, it's not going to sell twice. It's not going to sell twice. And then like 5 minutes later, you're like, we're selling 3 of them this year.
Go ahead, sell as many as you can.
Right.
I will tell you what was unique about this, and then I know we got to go, but what was unique about this is the art teacher told all the children to make the fish the same. because they were going to do an array. It's an all-school project. All the fish the same. This sweet little boy went home and made his own fish. It was one of those fish from down in the deep where it had the light.
Oh, yeah.
And he was so proud of it that she couldn't say no. So she put that at the center of the art piece. So when she decided to double it, she looked at the parents of the audience and said, "Your kid's going to have to make another one of those fish."
That is awesome.
So that was kind of fun.
There's always one student.
There's always
There's always one student. Oh, he did it at home. Yes, he did. Yes, he
Not the
did.
same.
This goes back to a training moment for bid spotters and up-and-coming auctioneers, right?
Yep.
It's always important to know where the donors are.
Yes.
So you get that figured out in your meeting. Is it okay if I recognize Bill and Sally Smith's name? Oh, yes, they'll love it. Go ahead. Okay, great. Bill and Sally, where are you? And they raise their hand. Your ringman, your bid spotter, they should know where that person is.
So that you can go to them
You
and
need to
ask
register
them.
that.
Yeah.
You need to register where they're at in case
Super important.
crazy money happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for that, because I left myself prepared for that too.
Yeah.
Because we had the bishop,
Yeah.
who was the father last year, now he's a bishop. He's a big deal.
Apparently,
But he's busy
he got
all the time.
promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's busy all the time. So
They call him Father Bishop.
we're going to do a barbecue with the bishop. Okay, well, would he sell 2 of them? Probably not. He's pretty busy. Okay, well, if we get crazy money, yeah, you might be able to ask him. I mean, you have to prep yourself in your pre-auction meeting.
Yeah.
You have to know. You just went and broke the rules and did it anyway.
Yeah.
We
But
have,
it's $7,700.
Sounds all par for the course.
it wasn't really a rule break.
Yeah, that
It
wasn't the right way to say it.
You should really.
It was a rule bend.
You should really get a tree doctor out here to look at these trees. Let no Ted, he has a chainsaw. Ted's got a chainsaw in the factory. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I'm going to smack you so hard.
Well, I know a guy. He's not a doctor, but he does have a YouTube account, and he looks it up all the time. He's all over fine.
And he's good with a knife.
Yeah, he is.
He can sword the heck
He's
out
got a
of a
very
fish.
steady hand.
Yeah. You should watch him fillet a fish, man.
Don't look at his left eye. It's not real. So, I mean, I came in here wanting to talk about tempering expectations. I think we've pretty well done that. Those magical moments. I mentioned it. I was following one this weekend, and I think you have to, set up expectations to do the best you can, but leave the gray area for those magical moments to happen.
Yes.
You talked about doubling an item, selling the octopus last year. There are certain moments that we encounter as fundraisers where you're just like, that's never going to happen again. That's never going to happen again. We made magic happen. And I think one of the challenges in this business is you're constantly trying to rebottle magic year over year, and you don't know where the magic's going to come from.
Well,
never know.
and it's as simple as a dress that you really love goes on sale. You have to buy 4 of them because they're never going to go on sale again. That's not true.
Girl math.
Really? Why would you need more than one?
Yeah.
I was instantly confused by that.
It's very similar. It's very similar.
Oh,
So
my
I should have bought
goodness.
4 of these yesterday.
I would have, depending on how cheap they were.
$300 dress and it's 40% off. I'd be silly not to.
Absolutely.
Not to.
What did you do? Girl math. Girl math.
Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, I got to show you. It's pretty good online. Go look up Girl Math.
Yeah.
And
And along came Polly.
along came Polly, for sure. That's going to wrap us up for this week's episode of the Nonprofit Network, powered by Stokes Auction Group. We are here raising funds. We have a few more weeks of some good fundraisers, and then we kind of taper down for Easter. So if you have not yet prepared, get on your family's calendar and get ready for the good rest of spring.
Yeah. Appreciate you joining us. Keep your heart right and your vision clear.
All right, gang. Go out there. Be you. Be smiling. Because look at the beautiful weather.
Look how beautiful it is.
It just puts us in a good mood,
beautiful.
doesn't it?
It's so beautiful.
And always go do good.
Later, gang.
Appreciate you.
See ya.
Ciao.